Kyle here from allmediareviews.blogspot.com, and this is part two of sort of return or of sorts video. This is in July, or it's in August actually, August 8th today. But so I'm going to show a bunch of CDs now that it's been since May since I made another video other than the one I just made on the vinyl. So Bubblemath, prog rock band from Minnesota, a band that I really do like their music, although I have to admit that there are people that like it a lot more than I do. But this is their new album, the first album in 15 years, called Peptide. Bubblemath's a band that of guys that, while they love playing music and they were starting to become somewhat popular among progressive rock fans like 10 years ago, they have day jobs. They didn't make this like their number one priority, so they took their time. And Peptide is the result of that. Their first album I actually have here. I'm going to show in a second as well. It's right here. Such Fine Particles of the Universe. But it's a good record. The production is pristine at times. Very busy record at times. I think they wrote longer songs than anything on their first album. But my favorites on this record, as I mentioned in the blog, the last track, The Central Con, which they released a version of that like 2 years ago. That was like the return of Bubblemath in 2000. I think it was 15. It was 2014, 2015. Making Light of Traffic probably has become my favorite on this album. I love the saxophone part in that, and it's when I struggle at times with some of the other songs, that song works from a flow standpoint. It doesn't really have any dead spots, any filler points. And the little synthesizer parts are great. It's very dreamy at times. Classic progressive rock, really. It's like a homage, but with modern production. Other highlights would be Avoid That Eye Candy. That the second song would be like 3 minutes and 54 seconds. A song that would appeal to radio. It's very poppy. It's Kai, the keyboard player, does the lead vocals on it. Routine Maintenance, the opening track, is a lot of nice parts on it. It's not a short piece. It's like 12 and a half minutes. The part they're talking about, I'm going for a ride and looking in the mirror. I just saw them a couple weeks ago live, and they played that whole thing, and it was maybe better live even. So some of the humor comes in, like with Get Along, which is funny because Ben Sinister has a song that released recently called Get Along. But anyway, this is Peptide. Definitely recommended for anyone who likes progressive rock, who likes like Gentle Giant or Gentle Giant, Echolin to a point, Zappa. The drummer's a big Dream Theater fan, so anyway. And I'll just mention here, I picked up another copy because I don't know, I had a copy many years back when this came out in 2002 of Such Fine Particles. Be Together is sort of the biggest recognizable song on here, but there's other songs I like Dollhammer, and I should open this, but I'm up against the clock. Maybe another time, maybe I do my end of the year. I'll talk more about Bubblemath, but yeah, they're from my hometown, so I have a bias. They're one of the most successful, if not the most successful, progressive rock bands from my hometown. And the likes of the Galactic Cowboy Orchestra and Bryce Plays Drums have come since. I always wanted those bands like to get together and do a show, which maybe eventually could happen since Bubblemath finally is being somewhat active the last couple of years. They did a show a couple of years ago without the singer, but now they did a live show they've done a couple live shows the last month. So the band Ours I've talked about in the last couple of videos have a new album called Spectactular Sight 3, but it hasn't come out. But they did send out to people that pre-ordered, or the people on the black card list like me, a 3-track sampler of songs that will be on it, I guess. Let's see, Slipping Away, Don't Lose Yourself, and Across the Clouds. Across the Clouds would be my favorite. But yeah, the thing is, it was supposed to come out in late June, Spectacular Sight, and it got pushed back, which I'm not surprised. Makes sense. Make the album the way you need to make it. Make it right the first time if you can. I always feel like the fans are putting too much pressure on Jimmy, even though he's maybe putting too much pressure on himself, Jimmy Necco, and the band. So, Spectacular Sight hopefully will come out this year. If it doesn't come out this year, sometime in early 2018, but for now we get a cool 3-track sampler. And I think it's available to stream, either through Ours' website or some other sites. But alright, so I'll go into this as briefly as I can. I did pick up the 30, whatever it is, anniversary, the deluxe edition of Purple Rain. It's not 30, because it was 84. 83 or 84, and we're in 2017. The deluxe edition, obviously commemorative with Prince, the passing of Prince. It kind of, you know, went along with his most well-known record. Includes like a remastered version of the original album from the vault, and previously on the release songs, which is 11 tracks. I don't know too many of those at all. The Dance Electric I remember hearing about before. Then CD3 is single edits and B-sides, which I haven't listened to all of that, but it has like Erotic City, a couple Erotic Cities, a couple versions of God. And then, you know, some of the songs on the record, I Would Die For You, different versions, extended version, another Lonely Christmas, another song that's not on there. Take Me With You, the edit, and Let's Go Crazy, and When Doves Cry, the edits and extended versions. And then it includes a DVD from March 30th, 1985, where he does the entire record plus a lot of the other, obviously, songs from the previous record, 1999. Little Red Corvette, Delirious, I would say I haven't revisited this or visited. I own the cassette rather when I was a kid. There you can see all the pictures and stuff. Clearly my favorites, or my favorite part of this record, and I think extended mix, which is on the third disc, was on I think it is. No, it's not. I thought there was another. Is Computer Blue. Yeah, the second disc has the hallway speech version, which is longer, but that's prog in a way. Computer Blue takes the cake for me for Purple Rain. But I'm going to move on. Another local connection. So we just talked about Bubblemath a little bit ago and Prince. Dean Magraw and his band, one of his handful of bands, Red Planet, released something I didn't even know about. I think this was like in April or early May. And I saw him. No, I didn't go because I haven't seen Dean Magraw at the Black Dog Cafe. Actually, this is not just a standard slipcase, but his band it's very fusiony. But then again, he has 8-head, which is fusiony. Red Planet. They put out a live record a few years ago, which just absolutely blew me away. I'm blanking on something about I forget the title now. Anyway, and I've listened to this a couple times, and it's sort of hit and miss with a lot of Dean's studio work. Although I think I like this more than some of his more ambient releases. I mean. He's a can't miss live performer, but the studio stuff when a lot of his stuff comes across well in studio, some of my favorite music, favorite influence and jazz like music. The drummer Jay Epstein is just a beast. He's one of the best drummers in the state of Minnesota, hands down. There's no debate about that, especially for jazz. I think Unseen Rain. The name of this is called Oh, that's right. This is a Bill Carothers tribute, or in effect interpretations. But it's called Bill Carothers. But he does Big Nick from Coltrane, because Unseen Rain is one of his songs, Dean Magraw. But there's a bunch of Living Space from Coltrane also, then some Thelonious Monk reflections and Think of One. Anyway, I love Dean Magraw. Not everyone no one's really seemed to ever caught on to him online, which is just a shame. But part of it is you need to see the guy live. So I wanted to sort of close down here with my interest in Bent Knee going way up. And this record I had not really spent much time with before, after the day after the show. When I saw them, I bought this copy of Shiny Eyed Babies. There's about 4 or 5 songs that just had my jaw dropping. One of them was called, I believe, In God We Trust. Yeah. Either that one and I'm Still Here, but then Battle Creek. There's just some huge melodic and harmonic moments in this album. I suppose this is from 2014. They've done some slightly different things since, so they're not repeating themselves, Bent Knee. But man, I think historically, I'll know their catalog probably a year or two from now, even a couple of weeks or months from now, because I've been meaning to go back to all their music. But yeah, this I guess I have to sort of anoint as my favorite, at least for the moment right now. But I'd say that album and another album that I need to open up, which is the album from last year, Say So, which was top 10, which I also bought a copy of, and their new album, Land Animal. They're all 4-star records for the most part. I mean, the Shiny Eyed Babies may be pushing 4.5, but yeah, this is. I'm not going to go into great depth about it. Just it was cool to finally pick up physical copies of their stuff. and I have the version that's in the vinyl. They came with the vinyl for the new Land Animal. So, alright, music related and not music related. Prog Magazine I've talked about. I did a video last September about the Prog Wars. Maybe I'll do another one this year if I can do that. But their new issue about this came out a month ago. They have another one coming out soon. It has a feature on Marillion, and I guess I've been reading. I'm not going to go into great depths about this issue, but even the Marillion stuff. The article on Clutching at Straws, the 30th anniversary. Anniversary for everything, of course. Either 1987 or 82 or whatever, 92. But this was, I guess, the original cover, the intended cover. This cover of Clutching at Straws, which the label didn't allow them. EMI didn't actually want them to release, so they had to edit it. They had to sort of strip it down. It has the writers Kerouac and Truman Capote, which Fish talked about in some of the lyrics. It's another picture of the band more recently. I've skimmed through it. I've been doing it while we've been going to Dollar Tree. And I don't want to ruin this poster, of course, so I'm just going to leave it here for now. The issue itself has a review of the new Anathema record, The Optimist. This issue comes with this program from Prog, which is a good documentary on YouTube, but basically showing clips from Ed Marillion. It did have Jethro Tull. It had Mike Portnoy's Shattered Fortress. It had Lepros, Ulver, Animals as Leaders. Anyway, so $15 at Barnes & Noble. My wife doesn't work there anymore, so I don't get the discount, but I think they did some stuff on Bent Knee in here, in this issue, but a recent issue, maybe the one since, on their website and everything. But I wish I could publish something like this, but the day I win the Powerball, I'm gonna start buying the Powerball tickets or the Mega Millions. I will, but the thing on Alan Holdsworth, I'm not going to be able to go over the whole issue. Prog Magazine is hit and miss still for me. There's a thing on the new Steven Wilson record, Temples. Temples, unfortunately, are a band that I have wanted to like. I know Dan Moxon from Ben Sinister really likes them. They're psychedelic, but it kind of had its limitations for me. I tried to get into their new record. Their one from, was it earlier this year? I think it was last year. So I want to kind of close this out on not music related, but maybe I should do a separate review. And I've been meaning to do my Daniel Klaus thing, and I didn't get around to it. And the thing on Ghost World, because Ghost World came out on Blu-ray. The anniversary edition I think it was anniversary. It just came out on Blu-ray recently, with in May. You can actually find. I saw that at Barnes & Noble when I was there, but I pre-ordered it. I don't even have a Blu-ray DVD player yet. But yeah, Wilson with Woody Harrelson, the newest movie based on one of the graphic novels from Daniel Klaus, directed by Ryan Johnson. I forget the guy's name. Not Ryan Johnson. Christopher Peterson, Craig Johnson. I was right about the last name. It was good. It wasn't overwhelming. It's not Ghost World, I don't think, but I need to rewatch it and see some of the extras. I haven't seen the extras, but it was. I have a bias beyond being a huge fan of Daniel Klaus. This was also filmed in my neighborhood. Parts of it were in the neighborhood. Parts of it were in other parts of the Twin Cities and the state of Minnesota. It's not necessarily set there, but he's kind of a character that you don't really care for him. He's kind of lackadaisical, kind of lazy, kind of irresponsible, but he's got kind of a happy-go-lucky attitude at points, and the humor still works. It's like a dark comedy. He finds out that he has a daughter. He meets the woman who basically, the girlfriend that was the mother, her sister, who's played by Cheryl Hines. The mother is played by Laura Dern. Cheryl Hines is effectively annoying, and at times Laura Dern's character as well. I mean, it kind of made Wilson seem almost more sympathetic, but he does kind of have that story arc where he sort of doesn't come of age, but sort of understands where he comes from and or where he needs to go, even though he ends up in prison at one point. So not to spoil too much about it. So yeah, if you like Ghost World, if you liked Art School Confidential, if you like Daniel Klaus, if you like Woody Harrelson, it's worth checking out for sure. I wouldn't expect for those people to get high level expectations. I wouldn't even if you love the graphic novel, don't expect, like most Daniel Klaus, the other two Daniel Klaus adaptations, it's not going to be an exact replica of the graphic novel, but it's well made, it's funny enough, And unfortunately, it's not been talked about that much, but maybe it'll receive a cult following like some of the others, like Ghost World to a point. So, anyway, that's more than enough for now. Thank you for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe. I appreciate anyone who's found my channel, anyone making comments, discussions I've had on other people's videos. But we'll see you next time. Hopefully the next video is in the next couple of days or next couple of weeks. Maybe a thing on this new prog rock article from this guy named James Parker. I don't know. We'll see. Thanks. Bye.